In the football career, you go through a lot ups and downs and a lot of difficult moments. And let's say the ones that suffered most at family. They see your good moments, your bad moments, your good side, your bad side also. But they always stand by you.
Your time at Manchester United has been a bit of a roller coaster like this. And so on that day when you get a big offer to leave Manchester United for a contract that was worth reportedly 200 million, why didn't you go? Manchester United's captain, Bruno Fernandes, has arguably become their greatest player in the post-Ferguson era. There isn't a single player in the Premier League who has more assists since his arrival. He's won more Club Player of the Year awards than Ronaldo, and only 5 players have scored more than his 70 league goals. So I'm at the Manchester United training ground to ask him the questions the footballing world wants to know, including, recently Roy Keane criticised your mentality based on a quote he claimed you said. How do you respond to that?
He can criticizing me, killing me, say that I'm not good enough, that I'm not a good captain, that I'm not a good player for the club. It's okay, I don't mind. What I don't like was when people lie about things. I even asked Ole his number to have a word with him.
Did you speak to him? Bruno, to understand somebody, I always think you have to start with where they started and the early context that they grew up in. And we were just talking before we started recording about Porto. I'm on a journey to understand why you are the way that you are, because you're such an anomaly on the pitch. And your career, when I tracked the journey of where you've come from and how you continually were promoted and pushed forward at a very young age, it's clear to me that your early context, your early upbringing, and whatever it was that was present at that age has shaped you in some very, very important way. What is the sort of earliest thing I need to understand about where you came from and that environment?
For me, it's all about family. It's about taking care of other people. And I think to succeed, not just in sports, but in life, you need to be very careful of your surroundings. So I think the values of my family, the values of my parents were what make me the person and the player I am today.
The older I've gotten, I'm now 33, so I think I'm 2 years older than you, the more I've realized actually with time what I learned from my parents and like the values that my dad in particular gave me. For a lot of the things, it's not something he ever said to me. It's like modeling what he did. So seeing how he behaved.
Yeah.
What's that for you?
It's kind of the same, like my father was never a person to show his emotions too much or tell you what to do or how to do it. He would just do it, and you would understand by his behavior, by the way he does things, that that was his way of showing us how he has to be doing. Was never a person of like hugging, kissing and stuff. He's got now into that. Even when I come out of games and stuff, you see like I always get his hug, I always get his kiss. And this is something that as a kid, I knew how much he loved me, but in these small aspects was always my mom giving this kind of love. He was more in the way of he was showing how things have to be done, how much you have to sacrifice yourself to certain things. My dad was very strong with me in terms of like games. Mm-hmm. Imagine I could come out of a game scoring 2-3 goals or whatsoever, and my dad in this case, will always pick up the bad moments I had in games to make me understand that was good, but wasn't great. There's always margin to improvements, it's always small things. And I think I've learned from such a young age to deal with criticism that I'm now probably in one of the biggest clubs in terms of like getting criticism and attention. That doesn't hurt me. Like, I don't like it. Obviously, no one likes to get criticized, but it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't change the way I behave. It doesn't change the way I want to do things. But from the other side, it makes me understand there is still things to improve. And I listen to that, and I look at my game and I see if it's needed of changing, of improvement in my game. And my dad was always very strong in that with me. And I see nowadays the parents, my dad never wanted me to be a footballer. He wanted me to become a better person, a better player, or a better student. Everything I wanted to do, he just wanted me to do it at like 100%. You want to do this, you have to do the best you can. You can't just be happy with, you go to a test and let's say in Portugal was from 0 to 100% and you have 98 and you'll be the most happiest person in the world. No, you can be happy because that result is amazing, but you left 2% then that you still can improve. So you always showing me that even if it was just a small thing or a small detail, you still have something more to do. You still have something more that you can improve or become better. And that's something that has stuck with me, not just in football, but in life. I don't like to do things 50%, 60, 70, or 80. Whenever I'm included in something, I want to go full. I want to learn as much as I can. I want to be the best version I can in that aspect, whatever it is.
I mean, it's really interesting because I wondered to myself how I think you started playing football at 5 years old.
Yeah, 5.
And were you good from 5 years old? Were you different from your peers at a young age?
In such a young age, I never think about being a footballer. I just wanted to play football for life. I'm just happy playing football. I just want to have this ball in my feet every time, all time.
And you joined FC Infesta?
Yeah, that was my first club.
At 5 years old. I mean, I've got some photos of you as a young man here. I've got so many photos here. But you must be roughly around that age then. And remarkably, I read that after one training session, they moved you into the older group and you played with people 2 years older than you when you were, 5 years old?
Yeah, I was 5 playing with the 7 years old.
Why did they move you into a different group?
I went for the first session and it was a futsal session, 5-a-side, but like an indoor thing.
Yeah.
And after that first session, they told me that like, no, you need to get on the grass. And then I think it comes just, I looked at the other players and at other people that were training with me, and I didn't want to be better than them. I just wanted to like getting at them was the same as getting at my brother that was 5 years older than me. For me, it was no difference. If I have to beat him up, I will beat him up. Like 1v1, I'm gonna go past him. I have to tackle, I'm gonna tackle him. He's gonna tackle me stronger, it doesn't matter. I tackle him again, and I had no fear, and I think that was the thing that made me become better and better, because I was never the best. Like technical ability, yes, I was good. Was the best? No. Speed, was I quick? Yeah, I was quite quick. Was the quickest? No. I was the strongest? No. I was the tallest? No. But I had no fear of anything of that. I had to sprint with someone that was quicker than me. I'm going to sprint with him, and I might not beat him, but I'm going to get close to that.
I actually read that you were so aggressive that referees sometimes asked your coach at Infesta, Sergio, to sub you off. Otherwise, they'd have to send you off.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of correlates with what you were saying there about fear.
Yeah.
You were aggressive.
That's what I mean. Like I had no fear, like I wouldn't look at faces or sizes whatsoever and think like, oh, he's bigger than me, like he's gonna be stronger than me or whatsoever. I would get into any ball in any moment in the game with no fear at all. And this is probably the best times in my career between Infesta and Boavista, because this one is Infesta, this one is at Boavista. When I stayed probably a year at Infesta, and Boavista got me straight away.
There should be a button just down below here. And if it says subscribed, you're already subscribed. If it says subscriber, that means you're not yet. And if you're not subscribed, please could you do us a favor and hit that button? It helps the show more than you know. And according to the algorithm, you're someone that watches our show, but you haven't yet hit that button. Thank you so much. And you moved quickly up and up and up and up. And that was one of the remarkable things I noticed when I looked at you starting playing at 5 years old, getting promoted to an older team, and then quickly, almost in all the clubs, I'm looking at when you were 17 years old and you left Portugal and moved to Italy to join Navarra.
Yeah.
And after 3 months there, you were promoted to the first team. But then you very quickly joined Udinese.
Yes.
And at Udinese, you met a guy called Francesco, I can't pronounce his surname, but Guidolini?
Guidolini, yeah.
He was really, really formative in your career, wasn't he? You were, 18 years old?
18 years old, yeah.
Why was he such an important part of your career? What did he teach you or give you at Udinese?
He was the manager that probably gave me the basis and the foundation to be fearless and express myself, like to get my head out of so many things that were going on. And as a young kid that has just made the step into the Serie A, and he's like, oh, now is the moment I need to show myself. But he was like, you don't. You showed me that you have the qualities when you were in second division in Italy. That's why we bought you. And to be honest, I was on the edge of coming to Watford on loan.
Watford?
Yeah, because it's the same owners. And we're getting at the edge of the transfer window. They just bought me, and obviously they had a big squad with a lot of players, and they were like, "We're gonna send you to Watford. You're gonna be there playing for them." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "What have I done? Like I wasn't good enough." And then in the same moment, they called me to go to the hotel, pack my stuff, because it was like last days. This pack my stuff. I was with my girlfriend, wife now, and she was like, "Don't worry, we're gonna go anywhere else, and you're gonna succeed." And I said, "But why can't I make it here? Like what was that I did wrong that like the manager's like not looking at me the same that he's looking to other players?" And in my head was like, have I done something wrong? I've not like showed my full potential. Have I not shown that I'm good enough to be in this team? And I don't know why, in the middle of all this thought, the sporting director called me again and says, "Bruno, you can't go anymore. The manager wants you to stay." He says, "He loved you. He loves your attitude. He wants you to learn from him. He wants you to understand how he wants to play and everything." He says, "You might not play much this season, but he's pretty sure that you are the type of player that will succeed at this club." And then we had many conversations. And I think when you want a manager for young players that very quick will play and will think like, "Oh, I'm the guy now," he's gonna make you understand, stay calm. I got you, but you're still not there. And he was so good for me. He was like a father figure, but not just for me. If you speak with every player that was there at that time, they knew they were important for him because he always showed that. And that's why he made me so much more complete in terms of understanding the moments and the process that managers have to go through their heads and what they think about players that is better or whatsoever that you don't understand. Whenever a manager puts you on the bench, you just think, doesn't like me. He's doing this because he wants to make another one play. But the way he did it with me and all the players that were around me at that time, we were so happy that the environment was very, very good.
As a young man, when you're this age, you're 18 years old, what are your dreams? And if I'd asked you at the time, what does your future look like? What would you have said to me?
As soon as I became a professional player, I was like, I want to be on the top clubs. I want to play for the big clubs. I want to be in the Champions League. I want to play for trophies. I want to become the players I'm looking at. I want to become like them.
Did you think you could?
Yeah, always. I never doubt.
And at 22, you get a call and you return to Portugal and sign a 5-year deal with Sporting in a deal worth reportedly 8.5 million. That next season, you scored 20 goals and added 13 assists, which is unheard of for a player in your position. And what I read as well is that Tottenham were interested in you at that time. And it was at one point highly likely that you were going to end up moving to Tottenham. I'm very glad you didn't as a Man United fan, but tell me about that. So Tottenham call you.
Yeah, I spoke with Tottenham and we were very close to get an agreement done. Then in the last 2 days or 1 day of market, the Sporting just said, we're not going to sell him. We're going to keep him because we need him. And
you wanted to go to Tottenham?
Yes, because I wanted to play in the Premier League.
Why?
Because for me, it's the best league in the world. It's the most competitive one. It's the one that I think when you grow up, you dream to play for, like full stadiums, top clubs, top players. Obviously, I was lucky enough that my dream club to play in England was Man United. And obviously, Tottenham at the time was the option I had. And I was very, very happy to join them because they showed me the process that they were going through. The manager that was there at the time, they also really wanted me. All the new things, the new facilities and everything. So I was very happy with everything that I could see going forward. But it didn't happen, and for bigger reasons, I guess. And then in January, I got the call that I was hoping for 2-3 years already.
Tell me about that call. Because I know Manchester United has been, in your eye for a long time. I mean, I know you grew up watching people like Cristiano Ronaldo play for this club, and I think when he first played for Portugal, you were a young guy. You were like 8 or 10 years old or something, and he had been a great star of Manchester United. But I think generally people of our age group, we grew up in the heyday of Manchester United, the Sir Alex Ferguson era as well. So why Manchester United? And can you zoom me in? If I'm a fly on the wall when you get that phone call from your agent, I guess, that Manchester United are interested. I can see the smile on your face.
No. I was, let's say, I was in my wardrobe. I was getting ready to go to bed. We just had to. My wife was just putting kids, my daughter. At that time, I only had my daughter to bed, and I get the call from my agent. I knew things were going on and everything, but after what happened with Tottenham, I didn't want to put my focus on transfer windows, and I never did it in every step of my career that I've changed club. I always said to my agent, whenever he's like 95% that the club really wants me and is ready to make an offer, tell me, and then I decide if it's like the right moment and I want to go. A part of that is I'm like, just keep him apart. Keep me apart. I don't want to know it. I don't want like to lose the focus of what I'm doing to something that I can't control. And after the Tottenham thing, I was like even more, because obviously I was basically done. And then all of a sudden, last day, Sporting just says like, guys, they text Tottenham and say like, we're not going to make it. So he called me and he said, Bruno, so you told me to not speak to you until we had something like concrete. But just so you know, they also have agreement already, everything. So it's just on your side now to say yes or no. And I was like yes or no to what? And he said, come on, you've seen the news. I said, my agent calls me, guys, and Miguel, the news are every day different. Every day they're going to put a new club that is interested in me. So I'm not going to be focused on that. He said, okay, Man United is coming for you. I know this is like what you want. So just so you know, this is the one that you've been waiting for. So it's on you now to make a decision. And then for like 10, 20 seconds, I didn't say anything. I was crying, but I didn't want to talk because, like your voice starts going a little bit choky. And then all of a sudden my wife gets into the wardrobe and he says, I'm still on the call. And she goes like, why are you crying? And like him on the phone say, are you crying? I was like, I turned that off and I was like, Miguel just called me. And then in the moment I'm trying to explain to my wife what's going on, he's calling me like repetitively, like I need an answer. And I was like, and my wife was like, why are you crying so? Like, this is like what you have dreamed for. Like, this is the moment you're waiting for. And I was like, oh, I don't know. It's just too much. Like, I've never expected after everything that happened with Tottenham, I would have got the chance to come to the Premier League again. And having the chance to come to the Premier League with Man United it's like 100% of the dream complete. So obviously then like I just call him back and I said like I don't even want to know anything else, just tell them I'm going. Obviously I was very good at Sporting and I was very happy there because I really enjoyed my time at Sporting, because it was when I became probably the best version of myself as a player, where I improved so much in that 2.5 years. But then was like the dream of playing for the Premier League. And I think from every Sporting fan, they really understood that was ready for me to go and do the next step.
And when you joined, here's the famous photo of you signing with Manchester United.
Yeah.
It's funny, the smile that you still have on your face when you look at these photos.
Same, yeah. It's because I think when you look back, as I said, like this is the day your dream comes true. So it's probably professional-wise, I think I put this one and Sporting together because of the importance that Sporting had in my career. But obviously this was the cherry on top of the cake, because this is where I wanted to be.
And you joined the club at a time when the club was in a bit of turmoil, struggling. Sir Alex Ferguson has left. We've cycled through a bunch of managers, and we've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the manager at that point. I think the club was 7th in the Premier League when you joined, and it was going through a time of turbulence. You knew that Manchester United wasn't the most stable club in the world, but you chose to come here anyway. And based on your record at Sporting, you would have had a lot of other opportunities to join a club that was more stable. That was, and it's interesting because clubs can have a big impact on a player's future. Players can have a big impact on a club, but it also goes the other way. And as someone that runs businesses, the environment you join has a huge impact on everyone's behavior, no, irrespective of how hard you try. You chose to join a club that was at the time unstable.
Look, the game I looked before I came here was, I think, United-Burnley, and United loses at home 2-1. I don't remember exactly, but I know they've lost that game, and it was just like days before I came. And I was like, I still think there's a lot of potential in that team. And a part of having potential in that team, I'm joining one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I know that clubs go through periods where things don't go the way they want, but sometimes it's not just because they're not great. It's just because other teams are being better than them. And that's fine, because in football, you're not going to win all the time. But the thing you can do is like, you can bring your own values, your own experience, your own qualities, and trying to help everyone else around you to become better, to become the team you want to see. And I think at that time, that period of, then we had the COVID time and all the stuff, but that period from there to the end of the season, the team was unbelievable. And the season after, we got second place. And because we struggled in certain moments of keeping up to the standard of City, that had a very good end of season. But for me, it was like, I wasn't like, I'll fix that. I was like, I'm going to be the magic powder that's going to solve all the problems. But I really knew that this club had something special. And for me to join it was like, I can be part of something that is going to become great again. And I still believe that. And obviously it can take time. It's taking more time than I thought. Yes, of course. But at that time, I had too many dreams in my head, and they still are here, and still a lot of things that I want to achieve. But this smile and this guy that came here in 2020 is still the same guy that wants to win and succeed at this club.
I'm wondering, because there's been so much said about the environment at Manchester United over the years. I know a little bit about the environment when Sir Alex Ferguson was here, because I interviewed a lot of his players, and having been to Carrington before, and actually going to the grounds and actually sitting in the hospitality lounge and waitresses coming over to me and talking about when Sir Alex Ferguson was here and how he knew everyone's name. And then how it changed. It was really interesting to me to get a lot of this feedback, because it highlighted how small things in culture can have a big impact right down to the way players play. And there's always the story that Gary Neville told me about with Wendy and her charity balls. He told me a story of the players walking past Wendy who got the charity ball signed for a local charity. And one day, a couple of them didn't sign it. And Sir Alex Ferguson came downstairs and he, quote, fucking killed us. And it's a strange thing to do, like to care that much about a small detail in culture. But over time, Gary told me he understands why Sir Alex Ferguson cared so much. So my question to you is really about the cultural evolution at this club and what the fans are desperate to know about, like how it's changed and how it feels different from the time you arrived in 2018 up until today.
I've brought in my behavior, the way I've been raised and all these things. And I think every different player has brought different things to the club. But I think one of the things that has to be always there is the respect for people. And I think that says, for me, is a non-negotiable thing. Like if any player comes to this club and he doesn't respect the physios, the stewards, the people that are in all the desks we have here, the people that work for us in the restaurant, the chefs and all these people that are around us, taking care of us, even if you don't see it, or if you don't think it, or whatever it is, for me is a non-negotiable thing that the respect has to be always there. And more than respect, the care. You need to care about them, because if you have a good foundation, a good base of respect and care in your club, it's going to get better. The environment gets better. Everything is more positive. Because I think, and this is probably the way I've been raised, I treat everyone in the same way. I don't treat the players in a way that I don't treat the clean lady or the people that are in the front desk or the people that the stewards and at the entrance. If I say good morning to these ones, I say good morning to these ones. I don't change that. If I give a handshake to these ones, I give a handshake to this one. If I greet them as I'm greeting my teammates, they will feel part of it. They will feel involved. They will feel as important as them, even knowing that the role of them is completely different of the other ones, because the role of a CEO is one thing. But if the cleaner doesn't clean everything nice and leaves everything prepared and well done and everything, you will notice that something is wrong. You will notice that this is not the place where you want to work for. You notice that you don't want to be the CEO of a company that has trash everywhere.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't you greet the person that takes care of you, takes care of your place to look so good and to make an impact when people come in from the outside?
It reminds me of something actually Johnny Ive said. So Johnny Ive is the famous Apple designer that designed all the Apple products that we know and love. And he said, it's very hard to feel care. He goes, but everyone can feel when someone didn't care. You go to a restaurant and they didn't care. Small things. He goes, but it's like, he said, care is just this thing in the background, this ambient feeling you have when you arrive somewhere. But you can't like point out exactly what it is, but you can feel it.
That's the thing. I think it's more that you feel it, but you don't see it. And I think touching this point, I was talking about cleaners. My mom she was cleaning houses for work. So I never wanted the people that were cleaning the house to treat my mom badly, or let's say downgrade the work she's doing for them. Because, for example, now I have a person that works in my house. I don't allow my kids to talk badly to her. I don't allow my kids to say, grab that, you put it in place. And I said it to her in the first day she came to work, and I said, if something is not in the right place, obviously I want you to clean. I want you to put things in place. I want all of this. But I don't want my kids to tell you, oh, arrange that or put this in place. No. If they want something, they can ask you. But first of all, they need to be respectful. If they can't make it, they have to ask you, but in the respect way. But if it's something that they can make, you have to make them make it. Not like, oh, you do it. No, just explain them how to do it. Show them the way so they learn with it. And this probably, the way I behave with the people that work with me, it comes a lot because of my background of not like it to see my mom, because I was not in the houses, obviously. I don't know if they treated well or not. My mom never said to me that any of the people that she worked for were bad to her or treat her in a bad way. So I really think that made me understand that because I don't want that for my mom, I won't make that to other people.
I've been a Man United fan since I was a kid. So like my siblings were born in Manchester. I was saying to you before, I was born in Botswana in Africa. But because I've got two older brothers who are Man United fans, I very quickly became a Manchester United fan. I remember like 3-4 years old. And then as soon as I could, when I was 18, I moved up from the southwest to Manchester at 18 years old. And I lived here and went to my first Manchester United games. I've seen the club go on this incredible journey from, Sir Alex Ferguson's era to this sort of period of transition to where we are now. And it's my observation, my honest observation, that in the post-Fergie era, the club made some bad decisions as it relates to recruitment and culture. People often talk about Ed Woodward's. I'm not going to try and stitch you up in any way or get you to talk about anything in particular. I'm just expressing my opinion. They talk about Ed Woodward's strategy towards signing players and it being a bit flippant. And then you look at the sort of group of lads that we had. And just as a United fan watching on the pitch, I felt the culture was a bit confused because it didn't seem like it seems now, where it seems like there's this really strong central agreement around the values. It felt a bit, I don't know, a bit like we had signed players because they were famous or big, but not because they fit. And I feel when I look at the club now, I go, oh, these guys kind of fit. And whoever's doing recruiting is thinking about character. It feels to me like there's been this process over the last couple of years of getting rid of the wrong character profiles. And I think Amorim really spoke to this. He really talked about getting rid of the players that didn't have the right character profile. Just to add one more line to this, I've spoken to a lot of players at the club in past and present, and they expressed the same to me as well, that there was an issue with sort of character profile that has now been solved for.
I think the main mistake that the club has done through the years is that we've changed manager through manager. They were very different. And that's already a bad sign, not of recruitment, because then you bring in players that fit that manager. Mm-hmm. But the next one you brought plays a completely different way. And the 3 or 4 or 5 that you bought don't fit this one anymore. And then you have to buy another 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. And then the constantly change of strategy in the club or in the way we wanted to play or whatsoever was not the best, because then obviously it becomes that the players don't suit anymore. The system is not even more the character then it comes up, but it's more the system. Then obviously we can talk about character, certain players that were not a perfect fit for the club, but you never know it until you bring it to the club. I think sometimes you can see it, and I think it's their players that I think the club, by the behavior they have on the pitch or the behavior they have on social media whatsoever, you can see if they will be a fit for the club or not. And I think the main thing for the club, as you said there, you need to bring good characters, because that will be more important to build something that good qualities. Because good qualities, they will have. You don't bring a player to Man United that doesn't have qualities. But if you can add the qualities to the character, that's a win-win. Mm-hmm. Because the qualities will be moments that the quality won't be as good as you want, because players go through periods that sometimes they play very good, sometimes they play very bad. But the character remains the same. And that's the character you want where they are on a low, to be the right character to push himself to be on a high, or at the same time when they are on the low, to be the right character to push the other ones to be at the top level. And I think that's the main thing that the club has to do in terms of recruitment and everything, is bringing people, first of all, that want to be a Man United to play for Man United, not to be a Man United just because it's a big club. They want to be here because this is the club they think, and they really understand that they want to succeed with this club. They want to bring this club back to the days we were used to see Man United. I know it's been 12, 13 years, I know, but we want that to get as short as possible to become that club that won 20 Premier League titles and is joined the most in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. So character in a football club is more important than the quality, because the quality, you're always going to get it and you can improve it.
This is what I heard from Patrice Evra. I remember him telling me that he met Sir Alex Ferguson in an airport, I think in France. And Sir Alex Ferguson sat him down and said, "Are you willing to die for Manchester United?" And he said, "Yes." And so he shook his hand. He said, "Welcome to Manchester United." And that's a different way of recruiting. He's not testing if he can kick a ball well. He's testing if he's got the heart and that mentality that I think Fergie and previous sort of cohorts of Manchester United really, really cared about.
I think Sir Alex, obviously, he's done mistakes in recruitment too, because obviously not every player was great, but he always brings players in any time, in any moment, they would fit the club. And that's the main thing, I think, in terms of recruitment. But this is like something that is not for me to get involved, but I will say it. I understand the club as different manager comes in and different ways of playing and whatsoever, but the recruitment has to be for Man United, because the player will get normally a 5 years contract and the manager will get 2. And you know that if something is not working, the club always gets rid of the manager first, then he gets rid of the player, because it's much more difficult. So I think you always have to bring players that fit the club, and then you bring managers that fit the club and the players you've got. Mm-hmm. And I think that has to be the thing that, for example, let's talk about Klopp and Pep, why they were so successful, because they chose the players in togetherness with the club that will fit the club, the system, and the way they wanted to play. And through the years, have they done mistakes? Of course. Have they bought players that didn't work? Yes. But I think we're more the ones that worked than the ones that didn't. And the ones that didn't work, I haven't seen many of them coming out and talking bad about the club or about the manager whatsoever. Yeah, it's difficult to be there and a club buy you for 50, 60, 70 million and then you don't play. When you thought, oh I'm going to play because they're paying this amount of money for me, I'm going to play. Then you get there, you don't play. Of course it's difficult. But what I've seen is that they built in a way that the squad was strong enough to take care of those players that were not playing and were struggling.
One of the things I've noticed as a change, especially this season, is all this social media distraction, people posting on their Instagram stories when they don't play, their brother, sister posting, my brother should be playing, whatever. All of this sort of like social media stuff that some players were doing over the last couple of years seems to have vanished. And this is just an interesting, we talk about small things being interesting signals. It's one of the things I've noticed this year. There isn't social media nonsense going on. I guess my question is that something the club has done? Have they sat you down and said, stop the social media stuff? Or is it just a consequence of getting the right people together?
I think it's a little bit both, but at the same time, I think the club has to be the one being strong with the players. When they see something that is not right, or they don't like it, or it's not good on the players, on the team, on the attention this club gets, I think the club needs to talk with them and with the agents, with the families, whatsoever that speaks out and says something. Because I think it's also on the players to make the families and everyone that is behind them understand that what they put out or what they say can have consequences on our careers.
Do you talk to the players about this?
If I see something that I don't like, or if I see them posting or replying to some people on social whatsoever, because, for example, from such a young age, I said to my parents, I've said to my brother, I've said to my sister, I don't want you talking without me knowing it. Not because they don't know how to talk, whatever, but they're not aware what can be bad or wrong. They might think they will gonna say something that is gonna be good for me, but maybe has repercussions on other people, and I don't want them to do that. So my parents never spoke, my brother never spoke, my sister never spoke when I wasn't playing. Let people make noise, let people talk. It doesn't matter what they say. I know for my mom, for example, she suffers a lot with this, and I say, take it in, don't care, pray at your saints like you do to me all the time, and make sure they do the right thing for me, because that's what matters. And she kind of like gets okay with that. Obviously, I know that probably when my brother sees something or my sister, they want to reply to something. They want to say, it's not true. Why are you talking about this? Or my brother, whatever. I don't want them to get involved in that, because it's not going to be good for them, not going to be good for me, and it's not going to be good for my environment. And I don't want that. But I think that is because I was strong with my family in the first moment. And I think that's how you have to be. I don't go home to my family and saying like, oh, this manager this manager that. I might say what I like or I don't like or whatever, but I don't go in a way of like, if I had someone that could put something out because I've been doing this. I don't care like to people to put out, oh, Bruno is training so well. Bruno is doing this. Bruno is doing that. I know I'm doing it. That's enough for me.
Mm. And it's true because, you've been through this process of transition with Ollie, then Carrick, then Raf, then Eric, then Ruben, then Fletcher, then Carrick again. And actually one of the remarkable things is I've never noticed your attitude towards the managers be any different. I can't tell. As far as I'm aware, you support them all. And that's how it should be, I think. If you've got a problem, I think as, player, you should go tell them. But we shouldn't know. And we don't know. With you, I don't know what you think of them.
I agree with that. Because first of all, I like every manager that comes in my way because I learn with them. And every manager that comes in has their own idea, has their own thinking, has their own way of playing. And they want me to do one thing, the other one another thing, the other one another thing. And for me, that's good because they believe that I'm capable of doing different things that I was doing before. So what I won't give to the managers is the choice or the option in their head to think, I'm not going to play Bruno.
What do you do when you're not happy about something, though? As the captain, do you go have a chat with them?
No, I do whatever they want me to do. If they think is the best thing for the team, I'm going to do it. Either I agree or not, believe it more or not, I make myself available for what they want to do 100%. If then it works or not, that's on them to decide that if it needs to be changed or not. I'm not going to go to the manager and ask them to change formation, the way they play. If they ask me, I give my opinion. If they don't ask me, I don't say anything.
What have you learned about what a good manager does and how to be a good manager from the 6 managers you've had?
For me, look, through my career, I've always heard that, like certain players should be treated in a different way than other players. I don't believe in that. It's like the same as having a business. You buy certain people to do certain things because you believe the right person to do that. So I don't think that you then should change the way you behave with them. You should probably approach them in different ways. I believe in that because I'm not the same as you.
Yeah. So do you treat players differently on the pitch? Because you shout at lots of your teammates. Are there some that you won't shout at as much?
I treat all of them the same. And I think they're kind of getting to know exactly why I do it. Everything that we train imagine, let's see, during the week we train this and we have seen images of this. We know what we have to do. The manager has prepared us for that. I demand that at least. I don't care who you are. We've been a full week preparing the game for this. This we need to know how to do it. Then if you can make a pass or you can make a goal or you can make a tackle, that's different. That's the qualities I need from each one individually. But I've learned to talk with them in different ways, but with the same end result. Not like, I won't like go to one and say like, being scared of saying things to him, and the other one like because he's younger whatsoever, I'm gonna like shout at him whatsoever. No, if I have to shout at this one, I will shout this one. If I have to shout at this one, I'll shout at this one. If I have to praise this one, I'll praise this one in the same way I praise this one. And I think that you can see in my interviews. I'm not afraid of saying what I feel. At the same time, I'm not afraid of praising players for what they have done or what they're doing, even if they probably in the moment they haven't done as much as they needed to get the praise. But for me, I think he needs that praise to get into the next level. So I'm going to give him something, but I make him aware. I've gave you something, but I'm expecting something more from you. It's like my dad giving me like, you need to be better, you need to do more. because he knows I'm capable of more. And this is why I demand from the players. I'm very strong on them because I really believe in them. I have said this so many times to so many different players. It's like, trust me, the day I stop talking to you, the day I stop shouting at you, is because I don't believe in you anymore. And I don't believe you can improve anymore.
Your time at Manchester United has been a bit of a roller coaster like this, kind of like up and down and up and down. You went second and then you dropped down the league, you're second. And I mean, the last 2 years have been a prime example of that, finishing near the bottom end of the table and then this year back up to third. I'm wondering, as a fan, when things get bad and you hear all these sort of rumours breaking online that the manager's going to be sacked, does that impact the dressing room? Like, do you guys in the dressing room, because you've been through it so many times where a manager has been removed, what's that like? When you know things are going bad?
No, first of all, you feel it for the manager.
Really?
Is the first thing, because I think obviously certain players will feel it more than others because it's their players that play more than others, and they obviously, the ones that probably don't play, they don't like to see managers going. But at the same time, if a new manager comes in, it's a new opportunity for them to probably get into the team more times than we're getting before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going through the process of changing manager is probably the worst thing in sports, because is starting from zero again. And either people believe it or not, when you're through a process, you want to get to the end of the process and understanding what that has gave to you as a player and what you can do more with that staff, with that team, and with that manager to go even further more.
Why didn't you lose hope? Because you went through that process of starting from zero, making progress, manager goes, back to zero, making progress, manager goes, back to zero.
You know why? Because every time, I've spoke this with Diogo before, every time you come for preseason, it's like a new start. And you always get that belief of like, this is going to be the time. This is going to be the time. It's moments through the season that you get this belief if the things are not going well. But the main thing I have is belief in myself. So I always think if I do things right and I take people to do things right and I help them to do things right as a team, we still have a chance of pushing ourselves into positions we want to be. And let's say this season has been that case because we struggle. Obviously, we didn't change manager because of results, because we were 2 points behind second place and like 5 points behind first place. We were same points till I think from third to seventh place was everyone with the same points, something like that. So we were there. Was something different with the club, that they felt that the trust between them was broke or whatsoever, and they kind of decided to start a new process. And that was bad, because for us, when Ruben came, what was passed from the club is like, this is going to be a process, but we're going to go through this, going to be good and bad times, but we're going to go through this. Obviously, then the club decided that it was time to part ways, and you started from zero with Michael. But then you've got results, and you went to the end of the season and you finished third, and you finished doing probably in the time Michael was here till the end of the season till now is we probably the team that has made more points.
What did Michael change?
I think in the first moment what Michael tried to do is like to give stability to the team, because as every manager understands, when you come in after a break, you understand that you need to give stability and peace of mind to the players to get back to the level he thought we could have. And he brought the foundation and the base that has been in this club from the time he played till the time he managed, and then he left. So he knows the club. He knows how the club wants to play, and he knows what the fans want to see.
How is he different? Like, what tactically or from a character perspective, what does Michael bring as a manager? I know, as you know, just an hour ago or so, it was announced that he's going to be the Manchester United manager going forward, which is great news. But what is, if you had to describe him to me as a leader and a manager, how is he different?
I think he gives you a lot of calmness, you know, in terms of why he wants from the team, the way he demands, the way he coaches. He gives you a good way of going to the game with a good peace of mind, but with a lot of responsibility, because I think from the time he was here with Sir Alex, he gave a lot of responsibility to the players to make decisions and to make choices on the pitch that have to be on you. He gives you the base, he gives you the foundation, he gives you certain rules that is like the non-negotiable ones. But then he also knows and he wants us to take some responsibility through the game that things might change. Because you prepare a game full week, obviously, but then the team could come and do a different thing. Like you prepare to play against a 4-3-3 because they always played 4-3-3, and then they come and they play 3-5-2. And then you go like, oh, and now the manager can't be on the sideline telling you where to press, where to go. So us as a players have the foundation, have the base, have the rules, non-negotiables. And from there on, we need to find a way of like, okay, let's imagine we can't press because they've changed everything and the press we prepared was not the one we needed. Let's get compact. Let's get together. They don't get into our block. When we have the ball, we play with the ball. We get into the halftime, and then the manager will give us the message that he wants to give or whatever he has seen that we need to do differently in a way of getting a better result from the pressure. And I think that's what he gave to us, the calmness, and the way he prepares games was very good. But when things were not going in the way we wanted, he gave responsibility to the players to like make it work. Then we solve it.
So like a bit of freedom to...
It's not exactly freedom, because freedom is a different thing. It's like he gives you freedom with the ball to make decisions, because he says, that's your responsibility on the ball. I can't tell you where to pass the ball. I can't tell you where to shoot. I can help you where the space is going to be. And I think that the most important thing for a player is knowing where space is going to be. You need to know where spaces are to then play with it. You know that they have big gaps there, that we can hurt them from there. And this is the message that Michael has passed to the team. It's like, if we attack from here, they have less people on this side. We can bring more people in the box from this side. We want a very good counter press because they have 2 strikers. So we need to have 3 people in the back. 2 of them mark, 1 of them stays behind. So this is the small things and the foundation that he gives to us. But then he says many times, I can't tell you where to pass. I can't tell you where to shoot. I give you the solutions, but might not be there. So you have to find a way of making the good pass, the good shot, the good decision. Because I'm not going to be in your head in that moment. In your head, it's going to be the ideas I gave you. And some of them will be good. Some of them won't work out. So you have to make a way of like, understand the good ones I gave you, and the other ones that are not working well, you need to find a way of make it work.
So it's more just he gives you the principles instead of specific instructions on how to play and what to do.
He kind of gives you, but then he lets you balance through the game.
Okay.
He lets the players read the game, because in 90 minutes, many things happen, and not going to always happen what you see in the video. Hopefully, yes, but not always. For example, let's say we had the chance against Nottingham Forest that I passed the ball to Brian and he scores. We have seen the same chance from Villa against Forest. The exact same chance, exact same movements, exact same passes. And we've seen that. We visualized that. And that's why that worked. Because we had the ideas, we knew we could make that happen, and we made it.
Does he get angry? Because he seems like such a calm guy. When you see him in press conferences, he's very calm and very, you know.
Yeah, he did got angry once or twice, but he's very calm in the way he speaks. But I think everyone gets angry anyway. But he's a very calm presence, and is someone that speaks very well, knows the timing, the words, he knows what to say. And whenever let's say more aggressive within us was the time that we needed to get that from him.
And the way that you play is interesting, because when I was looking at a bunch of your quotes over time, but also how I think about business, you are a player that takes more risks than most people. And we talk a lot about failure in business and how you have to increase your rate of failure to get better outcomes. But you're a player that is not shy of taking a risk. And you play in a way where you sometimes lose the ball, but you also, as we've seen this year and in many other years, you often are generating more opportunities than any other player on the pitch. How do you think about this? Because the way you play means that sometimes you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to lose the ball, more so than other players. I'd argue even more so than some of the previous midfielders we've had, like Carrick, who would often choose a more safe option than trying to play it through a thin gap. What's your attitude towards risk?
I think it's always risk-reward. You know, you need to understand how much reward you're going to get from that. And if taking that risk is good for the team or not. Let's say the position I play, you need that. It has to be one of your main skills, to take risks, to do things that the game demands from you, and to make sure that your team teammates in the front get the ball in the positions that is going to be, the rate of success for them to score a goal is going to be higher. I might miss 2 or 3 times, but if I get one right, that can become a goal for us. And I think there's nothing better than a risk reward that is a goal. So I think when you play as a number 10 position, obviously you don't want to lose the ball. You have to make that as less as possible. But in certain positions, you lose the ball more often than others. Wingers will lose more the ball on 1v1s than midfielders do. Fullbacks will do normally more crosses than centre-backs will do. Number 6s will make more tackles than a striker will do. So it's a balance in the team that you need to have. Let's imagine I played with Kobe and Casa. They're not a risk player. So if I take 4 times, let's say, a risky pass, and they take 1 each, that's 6 times a game. So I need to be the one that takes 4. They need to be the ones that take one each, because the responsibility they have in the team is the one that they make the team play from the build-up, push the team forward to then get the ball into the players that have to take the risks. Because if you don't have the players that take the risks, you're going to end up bubbling. And we talk like, for example, let's say Man City. There is a team that let's say Guardiola, tiki-taka, all these things. De Bruyne was the player that take the risks. Cherky is now the player that take the risks. Phil Foden, Doku, Mahrez will be the ones that taking the risks on a 1v1.
Has the manager ever told you to take less risks?
Eric told me to take less shots.
Less shots?
From the outside of the box. He showed me a board with my success rating of shots on target, shots off target, and goals. Show me the positions where I was more effective. And he told me, I think you need to get more into these positions to then make your shot.
Into what positions?
Let's say close to the box, like in the position we would see the box, and you would say like more towards the left-hand side, you score more goals. More towards the right-hand side, you aim more the goal. Towards the middle of the edge of the box, you miss more shots. So he was like, get more into the left side or get more into the right side, or close range, long range. So, but then obviously is we come back to the risk and reward, because sometimes obviously you're going to score a great goal from 25 yards out. But how many times you're going to do it? Out of 5, you maybe score 1, and it's a lot already. So I need to make that risk become less and less and less, getting more risk probably from 18 yards, because there the possibility of me scoring a goal, it might be 3 in 5, because I'm much more closer. I can put more power on the ball. I can be much more effective.
I've spent the last decade building and investing in companies, and so often the conversation around marketing budgets follows the exact same pattern. The budget gets approved, but then the results don't come back. And most of the time, the creative pitch and the offer is fine. The problem lies with the audience. Ads reach people who will never buy or refer, nor do they have the power to sign off anything at all. And this is why so much budget gets wasted. LinkedIn Ads, who are a sponsor of this podcast, lets you reach them specifically by job title, seniority, company size, industry, the skills that they have, and much more. You're no longer hoping your ad reaches the right person. Instead, you're defining exactly who sees it. And LinkedIn Ads drives the highest B2B return on ad spend across all major ad networks. Give them a try at linkedin.com/diary. And if you spend $250 on your first campaign, you'll get a $250 credit for your next one just by going to linkedin.com/diary. Keep this to yourself. Terms and conditions apply. Of all the things I thought would ever turn up on my desk, a red light toothbrush was not one of them. Here we are. This is made by our sponsor, Bond Charge, and you'll probably know of their red light face mask and their infrared sauna blanket because I use them religiously and I've spoken about them on this podcast before. But their toothbrush is new to me. I was sent one of these a few weeks ago, and ever since then I've been using it religiously because I love their products. And this is the first toothbrush that combines both red light and near infrared light with sonic cleaning at the same time. The same red light technology that's used for skin and inflammation is now built into a device you already know so well. And I'm using it at least 2 times a day at the moment to clean my teeth. It's great for your gums, for stimulating gum circulation, and for soreness. And the best part is it's not an extra thing to add to your routine. It just replaces your current toothbrush. If you give it a try, you'll get 20% off at bondcharge.com/DOAC. And also you'll get free shipping and a 1-year warranty. That's bondcharge.com/DOAC. You've had lots of managers, so they've all asked you to be, playing different positions. But on this pitch here, where is it that you like to play the most?
I think the positions where I can be more effective is this square, let's say. Here. I would say let's put it like this.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just need a square.
Oh, you just need a square.
This is, let's say, imagine we are attacking this side. This is the spaces where I think I can be more effective in this square here.
And different managers asked you to play in different positions within here.
Because, for example, let's put here. With Ruben, he used to play 3 at the back, 1 wing back, 2 midfielders, another wing back, and striker, and 2 10s. With Ruben, I played a lot of times here, in this position when he first came, and he wanted me, and in this position, these two. More than often, he wanted me to be one of these two to help here, to help these 2 midfielders to build up and to get this guy higher in a position when he can be in the last line and to get the ball into these 2.
So what position would you call that? Like left?
This was the left 10, let's say, but he wanted me to play more like as a left midfielder to help them to, like, first of all, to have more stability in the middle. Second, to get the ball going forward, to take the risk of passing the ball forward. Then I played a lot of times here.
What we're going to do is we're going to make you blue just so we can see which one you are.
Okay. So in this one, when I played here, many times he wanted me here because they were pressing, let's say, 3 against 3, and he wanted me to come and do the overload. So we had one more player to build up. So they will open up these ones a little bit more, get this one more offensive. Normally it was Luke Shaw. Then as a fullback, he was used to playing this space. And so then we could drive the ball, and they couldn't press with the 3 they had. They wouldn't be able to press because we always had this one also to bounce the ball. Then whenever we go up the pitch with the ball, he wanted me here.
Ruben did?
Yeah. He wanted me to play a little bit more higher, to be one of the 3 10s and make this line of 3 10s. Then, for example, with the Ole, we would play like 4-2-3-1, and I would be the number 10, and he wanted me to do this.
Oh, okay, go across.
And sometimes he wanted me to do this and get the ball here or here to make the long passes and to make the switches to the wingers. I think this bit here in the middle is where I'm more, I think we all can see the best version of Bruno. If you ask me where I prefer to play, anywhere on the pitch. I think for the way we play, this is the position I can be more effective, but I think I really enjoy to play here because I really enjoy to get the team to play. And I played many times with Ten Hag like this. I was the number 6 playing with 2 8s, and I really enjoy it to play here. And it make myself being a different player, more aggressive off the ball, someone that has to cover spaces for these ones.
Regardless of where you are on the pitch, which can change, what is non-negotiable in terms of how you play?
Commitment. That's non-negotiable. Like the commitment I have for what we have to do. It doesn't change by me liking the position or not, me preferring one position or the other. That won't change. I think running, fighting, and team spirit can never miss.
It doesn't appear to me that you ever get tired. And also one remarkable thing about you is you don't seem to ever get injured.
I get tired. And I got injured, unfortunately. Oh.
But how does that happen? Because I watch you run, it'd be the 89th minute and you're running up and down still. Is that genetic or is that something you do in training? What is that?
I think obviously I have to say that I have good genetics, but I was talking with Diogo about this the other day also and the nutritionist about like genetics, how you treat yourself and everything. But then at the same time, I said to them, you know what's different on me than the other ones? Because I always train 100%. I make the training as a game. I don't care. I go full. And if I don't feel good, I need to make some extras. If I feel that the training wasn't like enough, let's do something else. Let's do some shots. Let's do some crosses to someone. Let's do something that can make me go out of training and feeling like I'm tired.
Why is that important?
Because I think in the game you need to get tired. And then, like for example, when I'm training shooting practice or last third passes, I rather train that when I'm tired, because it's going to be the last 20 minutes of the game. Your brain is not going to work in the same way it was working in the beginning, because you get tired and you get to think slower a little bit. So you need to be able to train your body and your brain when they are tired. And I think if you do that in training, when you get to the game and you start getting tired, your brain is used to that also. Your body is used to be tired, and it knows how to react into that moment.
These core principles that have been central to how you play have led you to being given this, the captain's armband, which was there was lots of talk of it at the time because Maguire was the captain before you. And it's quite atypical for the captain to be displaced while they're still at the club and for someone else to be brought in. And as fans from the outside, we wonder how Maguire takes that, how Harry reacts to that, but also what that means to you to become captain of your dream club.
No, obviously for me was a strange time, because I was not expecting, Ten Hag called me to his office to speak with me and to ask me if I wanted to be the captain of the club, because he had decided to change the captain and he wanted me to be the one to lead the team from now on. Obviously, first thought was like very grateful. Like something that I've never dreamed about. Like you can have many dreams, but you don't dream about being the captain, like of your club. And I think the second thought was like, this is going to be tough on Harry. And the first person that I spoke with after I got out of that was Harry, because he knew already. I think the manager spoke to him. And before I said yes, I went to speak with him. Because the manager basically made me the question if I wanted also. Like he didn't said like, you're going to be the captain, that's it, point. He asked me. And I went to speak with Harry, and the first question I made was if he was leaving the club. Because obviously, as you said, it's not something normal. I've never been through this in my whole career. And I spoke with him about the offer that they gave it to me, and to be honest to him, and he said like, if is there someone that deserves that, is you. And I'm very, very happy that is you getting the captain armband, that if I have to take it off for myself, I think you really deserve that. And I think that was the point that made me understand that I was doing things right. Obviously I know for him was very difficult, and I don't think he would have said something bad even if he felt it to me. But the way we spoke and the way I think I've been treating him through these years also in the same way of, like I said straight away to him, like, you might have lost that armband, but you're still one of our leaders, and that won't change everything that we've been through. Because Ari, when he was the captain, we always make decisions together also, because I was one of them. And that hasn't changed now, because every time I have to do or take some decisions for the team, I speak with certain players, and Harry is one of them that is always there.
And your performance this season speaks for itself. You've done 34 appearances, which I think is an achievement in and of itself, because a lot of players aren't that consistent on the pitch. You've scored 8 goals, 20 assists. You've got 12 Player of the Match awards, which is the most by any player in the Premier League. 6 Player of the Month awards, and only Sergio Aguero, Harry Kane and Mohamed Salah have more. All of them have 7. And you've also won Sir Matt Busby's Player of the Year award for the 5th time, the most by any other Man United player. And that's an award voted by the fans. And there's other awards that I know you've won in recent times. I saw you on stage the other day winning more awards. What's happened? Why are you sudden, you've been consistent throughout the whole time since you've been at the club, but this year seems to stand out for some reason.
No, I think for this season, first of all, I think when the team shines, the individual comes up. And I think this season is being much better from the last, let's say, 2 seasons. At the same time, I think the assists record and all this going around made me having a lot of headlines and stuff like that. Obviously, it's an achievement that hasn't been done for any player. It's just Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry. So
I've got the little graph here. It says, Kevin De Bruyne, Thierry. I actually spoke to Thierry about this as well, and he sends his regards to you. Congratulates you on joining him up there with the record.
Yeah, it's something like that I'm very grateful for. Like I put my name in this case with them up there is something that I've never dreamed about or think about. I probably start thinking about that when I got probably into 16, 17 assists. I was like, oh, I'm actually getting closer now. But it was not something that was in my head, because in my head is always improving my last season and getting better numbers, better outputs, better performance, and was never in my mind that I would go to 18, 19, 20 or whatsoever. But obviously when you start getting close, you start thinking about a little bit.
And then all of us as fans start watching the games to see if you can do it.
And then obviously I think I've been very consistent in terms of performance during my 6 years here, but probably other years were people that stand out that more than me, and that's why I probably didn't got as much attention as I did this season.
With being captain and with being at the biggest club in the world, I think in terms of fan base, with that comes pressure and responsibility. The world talks about you. No matter what industry you're in, an occupational hazard of being at the very, very top or the peak of your powers or being even better is more and more talk. And, I think especially because of this, people are talking even more about Bruno Fernandes than I've ever seen. In my group chat, I've got a Man United group chat, and we're watching the game. We were willing you to reach this record, which you did. And now, because people are saying you're the player of the year in the Premier League, they're giving you all these big awards. With that comes even more criticism. And I think this is where your childhood has prepared you.
Yeah.
Your dad, sounds like your dad prepared you. I wanted to clear something up because it was on my mind. And I imagine it's frustrating for you, which is when your words are twisted in the media. And recently, Roy Keane criticised your mentality based on a quote he got completely backwards. He claimed you said, "I should have shot, but I made the passes," and used that to suggest that you were chasing individual assist stats. But everyone who actually listened to the interview, including myself, knows you said almost the exact opposite. You were being self-critical of yourself and saying you should have passed the ball instead of shot because you wanted the best for your team. And so, interestingly, because I've spoken to so many of your players, your teammates over the last couple of days about you, they also told me that this is the exact opposite of your mentality on the pitch and off the pitch. And I know it must be frustrating for your leadership style to be sort of misrepresented in that way. How do you respond to that? Like, how do you deal with that when you hear it and you go, that's not what I said?
Yeah, to be honest, like I've always said, I don't mind criticism. I've always take criticism from everyone and anyone, and I never replied to anything or whatsoever. People have an opinion, they think it's good, bad, whatever. What I don't like was when people lie about things. And this case that you said about Roy Keane, basically what he said is a lie, because you can either you saw some other interview, or you can't say that I said one thing that I've just not said. And luckily for me, is everything on record. Imagine if he wasn't, like, then people will think like, oh yeah, Bruno is the guy always trying to got the assist. But one thing that is consistent is my number of creation is always the same. So it's not that I've been trying to reach this now. No, I've been creating chances since I came to the Premier League, probably more than anyone else. So he hasn't changed that. My type of play or aim of play or way of playing hasn't changed since I came to the Premier League. It's not that this season probably Roy Keane saw someone like Bruno creating more because he wanted the assist record. No, he's seeing the same Bruno that is about risky reward, is about creating chances for his teammates, is about getting the best out of the other ones. Because the thing is, like, you will get criticized anyway. If you're scoring goals, you'll get criticized because you're not passing the ball and you're shooting. If you're doing assists, it's because you're passing too much and you're not shooting to score goals. So it's gonna always be like that. People will always make the balance the way they want. They won't balance things. They will put it the way they want the things to be. And obviously, I think I've always showed a lot of respect for Roy Keane and for everything he's done for the club and for everything he's always said. I've never ever had something to say. I've never said something wrong. I even asked Ole his number to text him, to be honest, to have a word with him, to say like that I don't mind the criticism. I don't like when people lie about things that I say, because this is like, it goes a little bit over the top of the things that I think are acceptable. I accept the criticism. I accept that he can say things that I don't like and I don't like to see it. But as I said before, that improves me. What I don't like is that people make their own words on what I say, and it's not true. He can criticizing me, killing me, say that I'm not good enough, that I'm not a good captain for him, that I'm not a good player for the club, whatsoever. It's bad. It's okay. I don't mind. Is the opinion? I like it? No. Obviously, I prefer Roy Keane to give me some praise sometimes because I've achieved something that not many players have achieved. I understand that this club is about winning trophies. I've never taken that off my mind. I've always said in front of everyone that I want to win the Premier League and the Champions League. I never said I wanted to be the best player in the Premier League. Never one time any person has heard that Bruno wanted to get the assist record or get the goals record or get the player of the season or get being better than anyone else. No, Bruno wants the club to be successful. Bruno wants the club to win trophies, and that's all Bruno wants. I accept his criticism. I accept that he might like me as a player or not, likes me as a person or not. But what I don't like is that he puts words in my mouth that has not been said. That's the only thing I don't like.
Well, I did actually ask your teammates what you were like. And I asked them on and off camera, on and off the record. I couldn't get some of them to be very serious, but what I received is lots and lots of voice notes from lots and lots of your former players. I texted around last night, and I'll play you what they said.
My friend Bruno, taking this opportunity to spread some love to you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you how much we value you as a player and as a person. I think not many people get to see how are you after the games and outside of the pitch. So I would say that's one of your best qualities, the way you care, the way you one of the first to help everyone, your leadership, your consistency. That's something that I take from example, and you know it. It's been a lot of years together right now. So hopefully this can continue and we can win so many things and so much more things together.
Skipper, Tom, for me, you're a world-class footballer, consistently world-class as well, which is very difficult. I think everyone knows that, how good you are. But I think more importantly, from my view, is how you are as a human being, and that's a side that not many people get to see. You know, the caring, compassionate, supporting, demanding at the right times. But yeah, I think for me that is by far and away probably your best quality. It's why you're the leader of this team and such a good human being. So for me, proud to call you the captain, but more importantly a friend, so top class.
I mean, what he does on the pitch obviously speaks for itself, but I mean, away from football, he's an unbelievable human being. The way he treats people, looks after people, the way he lifts others when they need it. And I feel like the respect he gives everyone around him that says everything about his character. And I feel like I've been lucky to spend a number of years with him, and he's one of them people that you kind of appreciate having around you every single day. He's the type of player who makes people around him better without even trying. We love you, Capitano.
We love you, Capitano. I mean, I had so many more, but we just don't have the time.
Yeah, no, it's just, the standout from that for me is just the way they speak from me as a person, not more as a player, and you picked some people that I'm very demanding on them, like Diogo and Luke as being probably the two players that have been more time with me. Tom is probably up there with Harry, Luke, Diogo, and then Tom. And he's people that I really respect a lot. But as I said to you, like, it's not what they say about me as a player, it's more what they say from me as a person that makes me very proud and very happy, because you can be a good player, and I'm going to meet a lot of good players in the world of football, and you can train with a lot of them and meet them a lot. But I think that what it stays at the end is like the way you behave as a person, and I like to see that I have the good values that my parents showed me.
That's what I said at the start, when you started describing what your parents had instilled in you back in Porto. It sounded like what all your colleagues and the players you play with said to me as well, because I've done this before, and people will say, oh, he's a great player, he's amazing, whatever. But what was consistently true through all of those messages, and there's so many more, is they all chose to speak about you as a human.
Yeah.
And that clearly comes from whatever your parents did at a young age. Why does that mean so much to you? I can see it in your face.
No, because as I said to you, I think as a player you can be as good as you want. Like at the end of the day, I think the way you behave and the way you treat people around you is the most important thing, because you spend so much time with them that they kind of become part of your day by day. You know, like you see more there often than I see my parents, for example. I obviously my wife and my kids is the people that I see the most, but then after that is them. I don't see my friends from Portugal as often as them. My parents, my brother, my sister, I see more them. And the way I behave, the way I've been raised, the way I want to live my life, and the way I want my kids to be is the way they've said the things about me, and this makes me very proud.
What is that emotion?
I don't know. It's just like it's good to hear that. Just that.
It's so interesting because I don't think anybody else that I've met would respond how you're responding to hearing people talk about you as a man and as a human.
I don't know. I'm just a soft guy. It doesn't look on a pitch, but I'm quite a soft guy.
One thing I've learned from interviewing a lot of founders and building companies myself is that trust is the real currency of business. It's the thing that gets customers to buy, partners to say yes, and investors to back you. But as you grow, trust stops being just a feeling and becomes something you have to prove. Because the bigger you get, the more exposed you are. Customer data, security expectations, regulations, all of it. And the risk of one small mistake becomes incredibly significant. And if you've ever tried to scale while keeping on top of all of that, you'll know it can become a full-time job. But our sponsor, Vanta, automates your compliance processes and brings compliance, risk, and customer trust together through their AI-powered platform. And the companies already using Vanta say they spend 82% less time on audits because of Vanta's platform. So if your organization wants to inject time back into building and growing, make sure you head over to vanta.com/diary. That's vanta.com/diary. I've done almost 700 interviews with some of the most interesting people in the world. And one of the things you learn, which is unexpected, is that vulnerability is the doorway to connection. And after sitting here for 2-3 hours with a guest, I feel a deep sense of connection to them. And as they leave, what I get them to do is to write a question in the diary of a CEO. We've taken all of the questions from the diary of a CEO. We have put the question here on this card with the name of the person that wrote it. So you can sit at home, as I do with my fiance and my colleagues at work and other people in my life. Whenever we get a minute, we play the Diary of a CEO conversation cards. And it is incredible what happens. These are great if you're in a romantic relationship and you want to connect your partner more. These are also great if you're in a team and you want to bond your team together. And I have to say, they're also great for families that want to learn more about each other and that need a good excuse to spend some time in a digital world, in the analog environment, connecting human to human. It is remarkable what the right question at the right time can do. Go to thediary.com and you can get these conversation cards right now. One of the things I learned through my investigations is that you have a clause in your contract, and you don't have to confirm or deny this, I'm not going to ask you to, but what I discovered is that you have a clause in your contract which allows you to leave for, I found out 60 million. And you chose not to leave Manchester United. You got a very, very, very large financial offer. I mean, I've seen some of the numbers that are reported, up to 200 million to leave Manchester United, and you chose not to leave. You could have rode off into the sunset. You, frankly, I think the way you were playing, you could have gone to almost any club in the world. You could have got paid more and probably would have had a more certain guarantee of winning silverware. And for some reason, you chose to stay. When that offer came in, reportedly from the Middle East, the big offer that we're hearing, for a contract that was worth reportedly 200 million, why didn't you go?
I said it before. I haven't fulfilled my dreams here, at this club.
Was that a conversation you had with your wife?
Yeah, also.
What was that conversation? She seems to be there all the time when you make these big decisions.
Oh, of course. She's the one, probably, I never make a decision by myself because obviously moving around nowadays with 2 kids has a lot to say, obviously. And more than, I don't know, become most richest person in my hometown, I want to live my dreams and pass through the values to my kids that they need to have. And my family is always going to be the number one priority in everything I do, because they followed my dream. My wife, obviously, I know on the other side it looks great life, obviously a lot of money, a lot of good things, but she chose to live my dream with me, and that says a lot about her, because let's say that when she chose to do that, I was 17 years old, going to a club with 1 point, like, let's say, how you say, 1,500, you say?
1,500.
Yes. A month in Italy. A lot of uncertainty, let's say. She had her own life. She had her own dreams. And obviously she said, like, I'm gonna help you. And that's what she did since day one until now. So she always has a say on everything I do.
And you've been with her since she was 16. You're 16.
Yeah, 16. She was 16. Now I was about to be 17. So more or less that. And then after that we have constructed a beautiful family.
2 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
And so on that day when you get a big offer to leave Manchester United, she's the first person you speak to.
Of course, as always. I spoke, obviously, first my agent, because he speaks with me about the offer, but then the first thing I did was call her. And I was in, I think it was Hong Kong that we were. Like, we went on the post-season tour, and the timing was not the best to talk with her because of the time difference and everything. But she was there again. And the words she said was like, have you achieved everything you wanted to achieve in your career? Is this the next step you want to give for your future and for your career? Like, because obviously this is the league I want to be. This is the best league in the world. This is where I'm gonna enjoy my football as I'm not gonna enjoy it in any other place. So we still have dreams to fulfill.
Why does that make you emotional?
I don't know. Talking about family, it's tough. Just because in the football career you go through a lot ups and downs and a lot of difficult moments. And let's say the ones that suffered most are them, because they see your good moments, your bad moments, your good things, your bad things, your good side, your bad side also. But they always stand by you, so that's the most important thing you can have in life.
And she's always been there.
Yeah.
She looks like my fiancée a little bit. She's Portuguese.
Portuguese girl.
So, yeah. Very down to earth, I hear.
Yeah, she's the one that pushed me down to earth also when I'm probably getting too much or feeling too big. She's always also very, very tough on me to make me understand that's all the things to improve. It's let's say, she's the second version of my dad. Probably that's why I chose her and she chose me in a certain way.
Does she know this? Does she know? Have you been able to tell her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not. She's gonna, I can't say the word, what she's gonna say after she sees this and sees me crying. She's gonna say I'm very soft. I won't say the word exactly, but let's say I'm the affection one, the one that likes hugs, that likes, she's more, I don't know, she's she likes. I think she's through her life. She had many things going on, and she built this thing around her that she doesn't need. Let's say she doesn't need much love or whatsoever. But is there many moments where I know she needs, I know she feels it, I know she kind of like, she's just like, she's not good at saying what she feels. And I'm more open. I show more my emotions. I show more if I care, if I don't care, if I suffer, if I don't suffer. She kind of closes it a little bit for herself. But she's a very strong woman, to be honest.
I know you have 2 beautiful kids together.
Yeah, we have a beautiful girl. That was the first one. At the time we were in Italy, and then it came little Gonzalo when we were in England. So one, let's say that she's always saying that she's half Italian, and one that basically looks like British, is white, blonde, and one half English, let's say, and then 2 full Portuguese people.
I didn't realise your celebration where you cover your ears is for your daughter.
Yeah.
She covers her ears, right?
Yeah, she used to do it when she was younger. She's too old for that now. She's a little Anna now. Very, very strong-minded, very strong attitude. She has a lot from me in the terms of being very strong and very... She's like, she can take care of herself very well. Is exactly like her mom.
Well, I wanted to say thank you. I'm a Man United fan. And hearing that you have gone through this very tumultuous period with the club where you could have gone, where you've had many offers from many people to go and do something else. And you've had offers where people offered you even more money. And for whatever reason, and I now understand because I've understood your values that your parents instilled in you, you chose to stay and to stick with us as a club and as a fan base. So on behalf of myself and all of my friends that are Man United fans and the Manchester United fan base, I just wanted to say a huge thank you. Loyalty is increasingly rare these days in football because people are often thinking about other things. So as a Man United fan, thank you so much. By doing that, you've also taught me something as a man. You've also taught me what loyalty is and how you treat other people. And you've taught me a lesson about responsibility in my businesses, in my relationships, and in my life. And I think this is a really important lesson because there are so many young men that look up to you. And what you've said through the good and the bad times is that you keep on going. You keep on going. You keep on fighting. You don't give up. You don't quit. And it's so great that the captain of the biggest club on earth has those values and puts those values before other things that might tempt someone with less integrity. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you. And I also am passing that on from many of your teammates who are very, very, very glad that you stayed.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's very kind words from you.
And I hope you stay even longer because I think we're coming into an interesting period of Manchester United where I think we have a lot of the sort of foundations in place now to carry on.
That's what I hope so. And I think that's not the club, but everything in general, the fans and everyone, I think really deserve to be back to the glory days.
Things have changed. I mean, Ineos are here now. I know quite a lot of the guys at Ineos. I was away in the tour with a couple of them during the American pre-season tour. And one of the things they said to me is that when they arrived in the club, there wasn't structure. A couple of them had said to me, there just wasn't. And it's so rare that you have this huge gap between the manager and the ownership, or the players and the ownership. That usually in clubs there's structure. I think from what I've heard from players, they've put that structure in place now. How has it changed with Ineos' arrival?
No, I think was first of all was important because, as you said, not that we didn't have a structure, but it was very difficult for players to understand where they had to go to talk in certain situations that we were not very clear we should talk with. Mm-hmm. And now I think it's very clear that you have Jason, that then you have Omar, and then you have Sir Jim. I'm very aware that now the structure that we have is a good foundation and a good base for us to understand where and which places we need to go if we need something as a club or as a players.
Has it improved?
We started a process with Ruben, where we thought that would be a process of 3-4 years. That was the plan of the club. Then we know there was a break in a relationship there between the manager and the club, and they had to change, unfortunately. And now today they have announced that they want to go in a direction with Michael, and hopefully for me, I hope that he stays stable, because the main thing the club needs is stability in terms of managing. Because if you really believe that Michael is the guy and you took him to the job, I think you have to give him the foundations he needs to build what he thinks he needs for a successful team. At the same time, I think you brought someone in that knows what are the values of the club. And I think that's the main thing and the most important thing, that the club brings people in that know the values and know what's needed and have a great character to be at this club.
And Michael's the guy?
Yeah, because as I said, I think he's the one that knows the club better than any player that here. He's been probably more time at the club. I've been with him as a manager, assistant manager, and then manager. The way he behaves, he shows that he has the character to be the manager of Man United, and I think that's very important to have someone that in the full process will know always where he wants to go, where he wants to be, and how much he wants this club to succeed.
You said to me earlier that since Michael Carrick has joined, Man United have won more points than any club in the Premier League, and that's statistically accurate. For this to continue on and to continue going forward, obviously the summer is going to be really, really important. And I was talking to a few of the other players about this as well, like Diego. What needs to happen this summer, in your opinion, for Manchester United to continue to move up and potentially even fight for the title?
We need recruitment. Is obviously we know like obviously we losing Casemiro, that is a pivotal thing that we had, so we're gonna need a player to replace him. Either he's a player that is already in the house, either he's a player that's coming. We need to reinforce the team to become stronger as a team. Not we need the best player in the world, this or that. No, we need players that want to come to United, to understand that we through a process that we want to win the league, but it might not happen. But this is the way we want to go to become the successful club that we were before. So I think the recruitment has to be the right one. We need to bring the right people in again, as we did last summer. I think in that Ruben was great in the choices he made to bring the players he did to the club, because he brought good characters, good players, and good professionals also. And I think that's very important for the next one.
Bruno, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where the last guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who they're leaving the question for. And the question that's been left for you is, if we sat here in 5 years' time and the 5 years that had just passed were a huge success, what would have had to have happened?
Huge success. Let's say that I've won the Premier League. I've won the Champions League with the club, and we've brought the club back to the place he has to be in terms of club. Obviously, in 5 years' time, I would like to be able to touch one of the gold ones too with my national team. Of course, let's say that's my biggest goal in terms of career.
The World Cup.
Probably the World Cup. I would say, because winning the Premier League and the Champions League with this club will be amazing, but representing my nation will be always the biggest achievement I have in my career, because not many players get to do that, like representing this is when you represent your people, when you represent your parents, your brother, sister, wife, kids. This is, you represent that small nation in size, but big in quality and big in love and fearless country that has conquered the world many times in different ways, and do it in a football way will be a great achievement for us.
Irrespective of what happens here, and I very much believe that Manchester United has now the potential to go and challenge for these trophies here because of all the hard work that has been put in by many people in this club, but also because of your loyalty. Irrespective of what happens, you're going to be a cult hero at this club forever. Not irrespective of this stuff, because I think you've done something which is even harder and even more rare in the modern world, which is you've shown tremendous loyalty, unbelievable character, you've shown humanity, and you've set an example for the club when we were at our weakest, when we needed someone to do that the most. It's all well and good doing it when everything's great. It's all well and good, but being that committed and that loyal and setting that much of an example and continuing to run on the pitch, but also to be an exceptional human off the pitch when times are hard, I think says even more about a man. So again, on behalf of all the Man United fans, a huge, huge thank you. And actually sign the contract?
When he's in the table.
Bruno, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're done. Thank you so much.
It was a
We
privilege.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
YouTube have this new crazy algorithm where they know exactly what video you would like to watch next based on AI and all of your viewing behavior. And the algorithm says that this video is the perfect video for you. It's different for everybody looking right now. Check this video out, and I bet you might love it.